Hi you guys, it is Jaliyah Kreationz and I'm back with another video. Hi you guys. In today's video, well, let me introduce myself. Oh my goodness, if you're new to my channel, welcome in guys. My name is Jaliyah Kreationz. I'm a financial coach that makes budgeting easy and simple for you. If you are returning back to my channel, welcome back. Hi budget babes, hi budget bros. I recently said I wanted to start a new series where I go through and talk about setting up a budget, getting started for each different type of financial situation. So today's video is going to be how to get started with a weekly budget, and we're going to talk about all that fun stuff for weekly. I do have a whole playlist on my YouTube channel that has a whole playlist of different weekly budgets if you want to binge watch those or find things closer to your financial situation. Of course, I do customize budget plans if you need something more that's up your alley, of course, more detailed and tailored to you. Sorry guys, I want to turn my fan off so it won't be super loud. So I do set up customized budgets that are tailored specifically to your income, and of course all the products that we are using are products that I have created to help you get organized and on track with your budget journey. So if you did purchase my planner or you took my budget quiz and you're getting started and you just kind of don't know where to go, let's talk about how to get started with the weekly budget. We're going to do a budget with how to set up a weekly expenses and manage that. This budget, we will be doing a weekly budget with an additional side income, which is also weekly as well. So we're going to be combining that together, and I am so excited to jump into this. So let's get into it, you guys. We're going to go ahead and open up our budget planner here. This is one of my sample ones that I use to write different examples in. So we're just going to start with the latest. Let's see. Make sure I'm going in order so I'm not wasting any pages, you guys. Oh, we do have another page. So wait, it's right here. Alright you guys, and we are going to be doing a budget for July, since July will be starting here very shortly. So we're going to go ahead and set up our calendar. When we're first starting our budget planner, we always want to see a layout of our bills on a calendar. This allows us to know everything that's happening, if we need to make any changes for the month. So we're going to go ahead and fill in all our bill expenses and our paydays. Alright you guys, so once you fill in your calendar, the dates on here, we're going to go ahead and write in our paydays. So we are paid every Tuesday, so we're going to go ahead and write down our payday. And our payday that we're bringing in is going to be $850 weekly. And we do have a side hustle, but we're going to talk about how to do that on our weekly paycheck breakdown. So I like to go ahead and write the paydays, the payday, and we'll bring it in $850 weekly. Put that in there. Perfect. So those are our weekly paydays that we have. Now we're going to go ahead and write down our bills and expenses that we have, you guys. So you're going to go ahead and write down all the bills and the due dates for those bills. So we're going to be putting in our rent, our fixed bills that are usually the same every single month that are dated. We're going to add those to the calendar as well. So on the first, we have rent, which is going to be $1,500. On the 4th, we have electric, which is going to be $180. And then we have child care weekly every Friday, $87. Write this in here. If you have stuff that are weekly every single week, you can go ahead and put that in there. Okay, so we got child care for $87, and then we're going to go ahead and put our Wi-Fi on the 10th, which is going to be $85. Okay, And then on the 14th, we have car insurance, which is going to be $190. On the 16th, we have our Capital One credit card, which is going to be $120. And then we have on the 18th our Netflix, which is going to be $27. And then I also forgot Klarna up here, you guys. We have 2 payments of Klarna, which is bi-weekly for $30. Right. And then we have a personal loan on the 25th of each month. For $200. Alright, and look at that, you guys. We have all our bills and expenses in our calendar. So now we're going to go ahead and start our monthly budget. Let me just make sure I'm not missing anything. I think we're good to go. The next payday is going to fall on the 29th, you guys, but this is going to be part of our next month. So we're not going to get too in detailed for that one. It seems like we have 5 paychecks, but it's just a paycheck early for the next month. Alright, so let's go ahead and do our monthly budget. Alright, you guys, now that we made it to our monthly section, even though we are paid weekly, I still like to do a monthly budget to get an overview of the whole entire month, to see everything that we're going to spend and our income for the month. So we are going to be doing this budget for July. So we're going to go ahead and set this up for July as our month. In the month section, July. And then our goal is to pay off debt. / budget. New to budgeting, want to learn how to start. So that is our goal. Now we have 2 sources of income, but they both are weekly. So we have a weekly income from our job, which is $850 per week times 4. 850 times 4 is about $3,400 from that first source of income after tax. Our second income is going to be our side hustle, which brings in $100 weekly. So 100 times 4, we're gonna have about $400 a month with that, bringing in about $3,800 per month. All right. Okay. Now once we set up those numbers, we're going to go ahead and do our fixed bills. Our fixed bills are going to be the things we wrote on our calendar. These are bills that are usually the same every single month. So everything we wrote on the calendar will fall into this category, you guys. So we're going to go ahead and write those in. So for fixed, we have rent due on the 1st for $1,500. Then we have electric, just due on the 4th for $180. Let's see what else we have here. We have child care, which is weekly, so we're going to put weekly, and we're just going to put the expense and the total for it. Child care, $348 for the month. And then we have our Wi-Fi due on the 10th, which was $85. Just making sure I have everything in the right order, you guys. I like to keep these in order. Car insurance and the personal loan. $90 for car insurance, and then on the 25th of each month we have a personal loan, which is going to be $200. All right, Now once we go ahead and write in our fixed bills, we're going to go ahead and write in our variable expenses. So these are going to be our expenses that vary each month, and we're also going to add credit cards to this portion, you guys. So we're going to go ahead and write down our Klarna, because we do have a Klarna payment for this month. And Klarna totals to $60 a month, $30 every 2 weeks. And then we have our credit card, which was $120 a month, just one credit card, but you'll add up all your credit card minimums here. And we're going to put those as $120. Subscriptions, we just had Netflix, which was $27 per month. Subscriptions are technically a fixed expense. I put them as a variable because you can always cut those to save money. We got gas, which is going to be $180. We got groceries, which are $450. And then we have household / personal care, which is about $100 per month. So now we're going to go ahead and total this up for the month, you guys. Alright, you guys, let's go ahead and add up our expenses here, and let's see what we total to for the month. We're going to add up our fixed bills and our variables together. So for bills, we have $1,500 plus $180 plus $348 plus $85 plus $190 plus $200. So for fixed bills for the month, we total to about $25.03 for fixed bills. So in our fixed category, we have $25.03 for bills for the whole entire month. Now we're going to go to our variable side. Once again, these are expenses that vary each month. Klarna credit cards, those can change when they're paid off. Vice versa, minimums, interest, and the subscriptions, we can always cut those. So now we're going to go ahead and add those up. So Klarna is $60 plus $120 plus $27 plus $180 plus $450 plus $100. For this category, we total about $937 a month. So $937 on our variables, you guys. So once again, fixed bills, variables, that's what we have there. Now we're going to go ahead and total these up together and see what they total for the month. So we're going to go ahead and take $25.03, and we're going to go ahead and add that to the $937, which gives us about $34.40 is our expense total for the month. So this is how much our expenses total to for the month. This is how much we bring in for the month. So we're going to go ahead and take this $3,800, and we're going to minus it from the $34.40. All right, $3,800 minus $34.40, we have about $360 left at the end of each month. So here's our full breakdown, how much we bring in, how much our bills total to, how much goes to our variables, how much goes out for the month, and how much goes into our savings. Super simple and easy to do, you guys. So now we're getting to the fun part, the weekly budget. So we're going to go ahead and set up our weeks of, and we're going to talk about how to break this down to find our weeks of, and we're going to have fun setting up our, sorry guys, I'm trying to get the camera to focus, setting up our weekly budget. Alright, you guys, so now we're going to do our paycheck breakdown. We're going to start with the weeks of. So the week of for this particular paycheck will be the end of the month going into the new month, you guys. So the week of, we're going to put our last day. I like to do Mondays to Sundays, so we're going to go ahead and start with Monday, which is going to be the 30th of June, all the way to the 6th of July. So for our week of, we're going to go ahead and put June. And this is how you're going to set your weeks of up, you guys. So we're going to go ahead and put June 30th to July 6th. All right, so June 30th to July 6th is the week of that we're going to be working with. Then I like to go ahead and grab some highlighters so we can section off that pay period. Let's go ahead and get some. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and start with this Monday. And we're gonna take this Monday all the way to this Sunday. All right, so you have to cover everything that's in this little bubble. Okay, Mondays to Sundays, and we're gonna go ahead and highlight our paycheck. And our paycheck is going to be $850, and we get paid on the 1st of July. So we're gonna go ahead and put payday here. And we're gonna put 7/1, and we're gonna put $850 plus $100. And this is because we have a side hustle that brings in $100 weekly, which will bring our income basically to $950 this week. Now we're going to go ahead and write down what bills we're going to cover with this paycheck. So right off the bat, you guys can see that we have rent, which is $1,500. Rent, we're going to break that down between every single paycheck. We don't have enough for one paycheck or to split a paycheck equally that will cover our rent in one setting. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to split the rent between 4 paychecks. So each week we'll basically put up money for rent. If we take $1,500 and we divide it by 4, that's about $375 per paycheck that will go towards rent. So in this section here, this is the income that comes in, and we're working on our bills that go out. So we're gonna put rent for $375 because that will be a bill that comes out every single week. All right. The next thing we're gonna do is keep writing down what we have to cover. So the next thing we have to cover for this week is electric, which is going to be $180. So right here, we're gonna put electric, which is going to be $180. All right, and then we have childcare, which is weekly for $87. You're just gonna go ahead and write down all the bills that we have. And then we also have Klarna, which is going to go on our variable side. Put Klarna as $30 this week. Okay, so the next thing we're going to go ahead and do is work on our variable expenses. Since we covered all the bills that will come through this week, we're going to go ahead and cover our variables that are going to come out on a weekly basis. So when it comes to our variables, we have we did our Klarna that comes out this paycheck. Credit cards don't come out this paycheck. Our subscriptions don't come out, but we have gas, which is $180 a month. 180 divided by 4 is going to be $45 weekly for gas. All right. Groceries, we have $450 a month. 450 divided by 4, we're spending about $112 on groceries. So we're going to put groceries as $112. And then we have household / personal care, which is $100 a month, which is going to be about $25 weekly. So I'm going to just put personal care, $25. All right, perfect. So now we have all our bills and expenses for that particular week. So now we're going to go ahead and add this up. So if we go ahead and add this up, we're going to go ahead and take $375. We'll start with our fixed side first, you guys, just how we did our monthly budget. We started with the fixed and we broke it down. We're going to do that same process. So we're going to go ahead and do $375 plus $180 plus $87 is going to be $642. Alright, you guys, sorry about that. Yard work is going on right now, so it was a little loud, but let's keep going. So our bills for this week totaled to $642. Now we're going to go ahead and add up our variables. Our variables for this week We have $30 for Klarna, $45 for gas, groceries $112, personal care $25. That's going to put our variable expenses at $212 plus $642. We're going to basically spend about $854 this week on a total of expenses. So now if we take $950, which is our income for this week, minus it from $854, we'll basically be putting $96 in our savings this paycheck. So remember, cash surplus is always going to be our income, total of income minus our total of expenses. This is what goes in our savings. Simple, easy paycheck breakdown for the first week of the month. Okay, so now we're going to go to the second week of the month. The second week of the month here is going to fall on the payday of the 8th. So we'll go ahead and just take a highlighter, and we're going to go ahead and section off the next payday, which is going to be the payday of the 8th. Very clean, very sleek, very easy to see everything. So remember, guys, this was our first paycheck of the month. Now we're going to go to our second paycheck of the month, which falls on the 8th. So let's go ahead and take a highlighter. I'm writing really hard, you guys, because I want the glitter to show up. You guys probably aren't going to see it in the lighting. So if you're wondering, like, why is she writing so hard? I want the glitter to show up on here. But we're going to go ahead and section it off. I love this part. It's literally my favorite part to do when I'm setting up a budget, especially using the pen and paper. You can do this on the digital planners too, but I love it, love it, love it. Go ahead and section this off. Boom. All right, so now we're gonna do the payday of the 8th, which we're going to be bringing in $850, and this is going to be the week of July 7th to July 13th. And we're going to be bringing in $850 plus the $100 from the side hustle, which is going to bring us to $950. And this was going to be the payday of the 8th. Payday 7/8. And now we're going to go ahead and write down what bills we're going to cover for this check. So remember, guys, every single week we're going to put a portion up towards the rent. The rent each week is going to be $375 due to the fact that we have to split our rent into 4. So this week for rent, we're going to put away $375. Okay. And now we'll go ahead and cover our bills that we have on the calendar, which we have Wi-Fi for $85. And childcare for $87. Okay. And then we also have car insurance, you guys. Car insurance will be coming out before we get paid our next paycheck. So we're going to go ahead and cover car insurance as well with this week. Right, car insurance for $190 that we're going to put here. Okay. And those are all our bills. Now we're going to do our stuff that repeats again. So we do gas, groceries, and personal care every single week. So we're going to go ahead and fill that in our variable section. So you're going to put your stuff that repeats for variables. And we have gas, which is going to be $45. Groceries, $112. And then personal care / household, I'm just going to put it as personal care, $25. Okay, now let's go ahead and add this up. It looks so nice and sleek, you guys. I love when everything looks so nice and sleek. Alright, so let's go ahead and use our calculator. We have $375 plus $85 plus $87 plus 190 is going to be about 737. Then we have our variables, 45 plus 112 plus 25, about 182 on our variables. 182 plus 737 is 919. We brought in 950. 950 minus 919. We're going to put $31 in our savings this week. Okay. And those are our first 2 paychecks of the month. Nicely color coordinated, nicely organized. Alright, you guys, so let's go ahead and go to our next paycheck. Our next paycheck is going to fall on the week of the 14th into the 20th. So we're going to set this week up as the 14th to the 20th on our thing here. We already paid for the car insurance ahead, but we're going to go ahead and put July 14th to July 20th because that's the Sunday that the week will close. And then we're going to do that same process again. Our payday, we're bringing in, and the payday lands on the 15th. So we'll put this as payday of 7/15, 850 plus the 100. And I'm only doing it that way, you guys, just because the side hustle can fluctuate. So we want to make sure that we still have that just in there. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and section this off with another highlighter. Let's go ahead and start with this payday. And we have to cover everything until this Sunday. Okay, I did that one overly pigmented. Oh goodness. So we're going to for sure cover our rent again, you guys. Remember, rent is every paycheck. Do rent for $375. Okay, and then what other bills do we have that will cover this week? We have our Capital One, so we're going to go ahead and put our Capital One in here and highlight this over as well. So we have Capital One, which is our credit card, which is about $120 per month. Capital One, $120. And then we have our child care for $87, which is every week as well. And then we have some subscriptions this week. We have Netflix for $27. Put subs $27. And then we have our Klarna for $30 this week. Okay. Those are all of our bills that have dates on them. So now we're going to go ahead and add these up for the month, but we need to add our stuff that repeats again for our variables. So for our variables, again, you guys, same old. Variables, we're going to go ahead and write down gas, $45, groceries, $112, personal care, which is going to be $25. Okay, now let's go ahead and add those up for this week, you guys. Super easy, very easy to follow. Ooh, I'm a little hot. Okay, let's add it up. So we got $375 plus $87. Our fixed bills for this paycheck, you guys, is going to be $462. Our variables, $120 plus $27 plus $30 plus $45 plus $112 plus $25 is going to be $359. $359 plus $462 is going to be $821 this week. We brought in $950. $950 minus $821 we're going to put $129 in our savings. $129. I'm going to make sure that my math was on point. And look at that, the first 3 weeks of the month are already done. And we can go ahead and check and see what our savings is supposed to be $360 for the month. We have 96 plus 31 plus 129. We're already saving about $256 in the first 3 weeks of the month. We just have one more week left. So let's go ahead and finish that last week strong, you guys. Let me go ahead and highlight this Klarna. The Klarna we already took over. Alright, so now we're gonna go to the last week of the month, which is the week of the 21st to the 27th. So we'll go ahead and cover that week. So let's go ahead and take our highlighters, and we're just gonna go ahead and section off this pay period. We do get one more paycheck of this month, you guys, but it's going to be our first paycheck of August, so we're not going to touch that paycheck. So for our weeks of, we're going to go ahead and put the 21st to the 27th. So July 21st to July 27th. And our payday is going to fall on July 22nd, it was, right? July 22nd. We bring in $850, and our side hustle is supposed to bring in $100. So we bring in $950. Okay. And then our fixed bills, once again, we have rent that comes out, which is $375 each week, you guys. And then we also have childcare, just $87 each week as well. Okay, so we just know for a fact that those are going to come out, and then we'll go ahead and go look at our calendar again and see what we have coming up. All right, so for this week we have the child care, which we put, and then we also have a personal loan for $200 this week. Personal loan, $200. Okay, so rent, childcare, personal loan, and then our stuff that repeats again, you guys. So we have gas, which was $45 each week. Groceries, which are $112. And then personal / household for $25. Okay, so now let's go ahead and add up this week and see what we total expense wise versus income. Okay, you guys, let's go ahead and add this up. So 375 plus 87 plus 200. So for our fixed bills, we total to $662 this week. 45 plus 112 plus 25. We have 182 plus 662 is going to be $844 for our expenses this week. And then we take $950 minus $844. We're going to be putting $106 in our savings for this week. Okay, and we have a nice bill organization going on over here. I cannot speak. Organization going on as well. Look at that. Perfect. So now we are done for the month, you guys. Those are all of our bills and expenses. Monthly budget, our paycheck breakdown. Let's go ahead and see if our savings matches for the month. So for a month, we're supposed to save $360 each month. This is it broken down into each paycheck. First paycheck, we put $96 in our savings. The second paycheck, we put $31. The third paycheck, we put $129. And our last paycheck, we put $106. That puts us at about $362. Our goal was to save $360 a month, so we reached our goal based on our paycheck breakdown and our numbers. So very simple, very easy to follow, you guys. Your budget plan shouldn't be hard. Our goal for this budget is to pay off debt as well. I'm not going to do the debt payoff plan for this one just because I wanted to focus on the budget. But I will say with that $360 left over, we would focus on paying off our credit card, our Klarna first, then our credit card, and then we'll work our way to the student loans. But you know what? Let me think, and then run an expense check to make sure we're staying on track. I'll just show you guys what the debt looks like, and I'll post a short of me doing the debt breakdown so you guys can see that on here. But we'll do a clip of it so you guys can kind of see what the debt looks like for this particular income. Alright, you guys, for our debt payoff plan, we have 3 forms of debt. We have a credit card, Klarna, and a personal loan. So we have our Capital One, which has a balance of $3,000 with a $120 minimum. We have our personal loan, which is $4,800 with a $200 minimum. Then we have Klarna, which is a $300 balance with a $60 minimum. Okay, those are our debt. So starting at the end of July, we'd have $362 left. With this $362 left, I would possibly go ahead and knock the Klarna out. The Klarna, we would have already put a $60 minimum for the month, and this Klarna doesn't have interest on it, so all that will be left on the Klarna. If we take 300 minus 60, will be $240. We'll go ahead and finish the Klarna off for the month. We'll pay off Klarna. Which has a balance of $240. $362 minus $240. We'll put $122. In our savings. Okay. And just like that, we would have our Klarna paid off. And then we'll go into August and we can add $60 back into our pockets. $362 plus $60 is going to be $422 for our new cash surplus. All right. Look at me saying I wasn't going to do the debt payoff plan, and you guys got me. The budget babes got me. So the next thing we'll go ahead and do, you guys, I'm just going to finish it off. Hell, it's a longer video, but if you don't want to watch the debt payoff plan, just skip it, you guys. You can end the budget here, but I'm going to finish the plan just because I started it, and just for my sanity, I like to finish things that I start. So the next thing we're going to do is focus on the credit card debt, you guys. When we have a loan versus a credit card, we always want to pay off the credit card first versus the loan, just because the credit cards accumulate higher interest rates. So let's go ahead and build a savings while paying off debt. You guys know how I am about that. I love to have a cushion while we're paying off debt. It never hurts. So we're going to go ahead and put $322 of this towards debt, and we're going to put $100 in our savings. We have about $422 left in August after each paycheck at the end of the month. And we're going to go ahead and pay off the, oopsie, not the personal loan, the Capital One. All right. Capital One has a $3,000 balance on it. It could have went down since we paid $120 minimum, but you know when you pay credit card, it's almost like you didn't do anything. So we're just going to start from the beginning. 3,000 divided by 322. We're looking at roughly about 10 months to pay off the Capital One. And remember, we still are paying a minimum. I'm not including the minimum because this is the money left over after our budget. This is budgeted in our budget. So we're going to use that to cover any interest. So we're going to go ahead and just do 322 times 10 months. Usually I write the months out, but I'm being a little lazy today. I think I deserved it. I worked hard. 322 times 10 months is going to be 3220. With 3220, I'm gonna go ahead and pay off that $3 grand, and then we were also putting money in our savings. So 100 times 10 months. Let's see what we have there. 100 times 10 months. We'll have $1,000 in our savings. So not only will we pay off debt, we'll have a nice amount in our savings. On top of the 220 that we'll have left as well. From the leftover of the previous month. Okay. And there's that week. Now we're going to go ahead and focus on the personal loan. So let's go ahead and do the math here. 10 months from now, August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May, June. So by the time we get here, we'll be in June. So in June, we no longer have to pay that $120. So 120 plus the 422 is going to be 542 as our new cash surplus. With 542, we're going to pay off the personal loan. Now, let's say that personal loan barely had any interest on it. Let's say it's probably like a 6%, 10%. Very small interest rate on there. Let's see how much we would have paid on this personal loan. So 11 months would have went by. 11 months times a minimum of 200. We would have put about 2,200 on that personal loan. 4,800 minus 2,200. Would have basically 26 left on the personal loan. So we're going to go ahead and put pay off personal loan. And I'm going to take a bet and say that it's about 2,600 at this point, just because the interest rates on loans are not super crazy, so it's still manageable. So now that we have our first $1,000 saved, we're still going to do the same thing. We're going to go ahead and put $442 towards debt and still just put $100 in our savings. And we'll go ahead and finish off the rest of this personal loan on top of the $200 minimum. I'm just going to round up again. So we're going to take 2,600 and we're going to divide it by 442. It'd take about 6 months. So I don't even think it'll be that long because we still have that $200 minimum. I really want to add the minimum in there, you guys. So we're going to put, we're going to add the additional money to it. So we're going to do 442 plus 200, you guys. So we're going to put 642 towards it. 2,600 divided by 642 is roughly about 4 months to pay it off. I just don't think that the interest rate is going to have that high of interest on there. So June, July, August, and September, and we're going to be putting $642. So we'll be putting the 442 plus the $200 minimum. So this will work, you guys, if the interest isn't super crazy. Usually I like to use the minimum as the interest barrier, but in this case I think we should be fine. So $200 minimum, $100 minimum. Okay, then we'll go ahead and do the math on that one, my favorite thing to do. So we have 642, we're going to multiply that by 4 months because it'll roughly take about 4 months to pay off that card. We're gonna go ahead and portion that off. So 642 times 4, it's gonna be about 2568 plus or minus 2600. I know you guys are thinking, what about the additional money? We'll just pull from that savings and we'll finish it off. We're supposed to be putting away $100 per month, so that last month we'll just do it a little smaller. So we'll be putting 100 to 52 2568 minus 2600 minus 2568. It's gonna be $32. So we'll just pull $32 from one of these months. So we'll take $400 minus 32, and we'll basically be we'll have a savings of $368 for the 3 months. Oopsie. Okay, and then we'll officially be debt free going into that October. Perfect. All right, you guys, so that is how we set up a budget plan to pay off our debt and do a weekly budget. I hope this video was very helpful. If you guys have any questions, you know where to leave them in the comment section below, and let me know what you thought about everything. Was this helpful? Are you paid weekly, and does this make sense for you for setting up a budget? And once again, grab some budget tools and get started on your budget journey, you guys. Thank you again for watching. I'll see you guys next Wednesday.